Determining if this business is for you. For this topic, I generally break it down into three main areas: the pros, the cons, and questions to ask yourself before you get started. I'll start with the pros. I have three that describe how I feel about the childcare industry. The first being the fact that I can actually work with infants and toddlers that look up to me, admire me, and depend on me. Everything that I teach them and all of my interactions with them primarily affect what type of citizen they turn out to be. When it comes to working with kids, no 2 days are ever alike, which kind of keeps you on your toes and the excitement never dies. Another beautiful thing about working with infants and toddlers is simply the fact that they have a genuine love for you that makes them want to see you happy all the time. There have been days when I would come into work and maybe I'd be down, or there'd be some things going on that they're too young to understand, but at the end of the day, it never failed. I would always have a smile on my face. Why? Because they would spend the entire day trying to crack silly jokes to make me laugh. They'd be trying to dress like me, some of them even putting on glasses. I'd get pictures of myself that may not necessarily look like me, but the intention was genuine. When it comes to kids, I think the beautiful part of working with them is the fact that they keep you as a kid yourself at heart. The laughter is pure, you feel light on your feet, and above all, what you're doing is actually giving back in a significant way. You actually have a position that has meaning. My second reason would simply be the fact that I am a very well-respected pillar in my community. Not only do I have parents coming to me for guidance and advice, I actually have people in my community that seeks out my point of view for anything that can be community related. I actually have a position that people don't despise and that they respect. I'm admired, and honestly, it makes me feel good. My third reason is simply because of the fact that I am being very well compensated for something that I really love doing. Now, I'll cover the lucrative aspect in the next topic, but you should know that when it comes to the childcare industry, you have so much flexibility to do exactly what it is that you want to do, as long as you're creative and you're not afraid to use your imagination. And knowing the fact that you can actually work with children, feel good about what you're doing, makes the lucrative aspect the cherry on top. And I don't know about you, but I don't mind cherries. When it comes to the cons, I've broken down my two. One being when I was first starting out, and the second being a problem that you face going on throughout the entire process of running your business. When I first started out, and I think I can speak for all providers, it was kind of shocking and probably a little bit overwhelming to deal with all of the different cultural backgrounds and upbringings and beliefs when it came to implementing a program or even creating a menu on the foods I would serve. With that kind of obstacle, the best thing that helps you is your willingness and your tolerance level and time to help you overcome that obstacle. See, it's very hard to implement a lesson plan, for different types of children from different backgrounds. It's also very overwhelming at times to deal with parents that are of different beliefs than you. With that being said, it would be best that you get into this industry with an open mind and embracing everything that's similar to you as well as different. Now, as for the second con, which is probably the biggest one, it would be lawsuits. Now, I'm constantly asked about being scared of being sued, and don't I fear the day that something like that happens, or whatever the case may be. And I say all the time, listen, I've been working with kids for about 8 years, and I've been running my own program for 5.5. And within that time frame, I was able to weigh my pros and cons. And the truth of the matter is, that one con does not outweigh any of the pros. It's just the risk that come with the business. Now, when it comes to risk, it's fair to say that there are risks in any business. It's just a matter of which risk you're willing to run with. With lawsuits, yeah, there are some parents that may not necessarily understand that kids run in the park and scrape their knee. But then on the other hand, there are parents that do understand that. In addition to that, lawsuits aren't every provider's worst nightmare. It's just that it's not uncommon. I'm usually upfront and honest about that, and I always tell people, if you're afraid of lawsuits in this industry, you're really, really, really cutting yourself short. You're cutting yourself short on such a lucrative opportunity, on such a significant and meaningful position. There's so much pros that outweigh that, especially since it's not something that happens on a day-to-day basis. Now, when it comes to the questions you should ask yourself, I always tell people that you don't have to be honest with me, but be honest with yourself. Ask yourself before you get started. If you choose to work with infants, are you going to be okay changing diapers? Are you going to be able to handle multiple babies crying for an extended amount of time every day? If you prefer to work with toddlers, can you handle 1,000,001 questions every day? Can you handle paint and snot all over your clothes? Do you find yourself to be the type of person that would prefer to work in the back office? Maybe keeping the files up to date, ordering supplies, creating the curriculum plan, that's okay too. But you need to be honest with yourself, because lots of times people get into the industry focusing on just one area and finding themselves coming up short in another. Now that in itself can drastically hinder the success of your business, and that's not something that you would want. What you would want to do is make sure that if you're the type of person that prefers to be in the back office, you hire someone to be up front. That's fine. Now, with that being said, you want to make sure that whoever you get on your team actually supports the foundation and your mission statement. Once you're able to do that, you can pretty much plug yourself into any position and find yourself working in the childcare industry.